What do these words here have in common? Gabriel, do you know them? The words highly, deeply, and utterly. What do they have in common? They have the same suffix. Yes, that's true. Okay. Now, which part of speech um, are they in a sentence, for example? What is their role? What do they do in a sentence? Are they verbs? Are they nouns? Are they adjectives, adverbs? Oh, great. Excellent. They are adverbs. Fantastic. Let's ask you a question using the first one. Which book? I don't know. Do you read books, Gabriel? I always ask that because I love books, so I think everybody loves books too. So, do you read books? Do you like books? Oh, okay. You don't like reading books. All right. Do you watch movies? Okay. Which movie do you highly recommend? For example, this weekend, I want to watch a movie with my family, and I'd like to know from you, which movie do you highly recommend? We have the Oscars now, right? Oh, Avengers Endgame. Hi, Pedro. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good to see you. All right. Danilo is trying to connect his audio, so he can't hear me. Oh, I think now he can. Hi, Danilo. Good morning. Welcome. Are you okay? Yes? Great. Good to see you guys. So I was asking Gabriel about these three words here, and he answered that what they have in common is the suffix. They all end in ly. And I asked him about the part of speech they play in a sentence, and he said they are adverbs. And he's correct. Very good. They are adverbs. And then I asked him this question using this first one here. Um, which movie do you highly recommend um, to watch this weekend? Because I'm going to watch a movie with my family, and I'd like to have some ideas of what to see. And then he said Avengers, right? Yeah, and Game. All right. Why do you highly recommend this movie, Gabriel? Oh, okay. All right. You think it's fantastic. Okay, great. So I'll check it out. I'll make sure I'll see this movie. Hi, Nathan. Good morning. So now I would like to show you a short video about these adverbs, okay, and how to use them to intensify other adjectives or other verbs, okay? And it's really nice to know how to match, how to make the combinations with the appropriate words. So the focus of this first part in our lesson today is how to combine, how to use the appropriate words together, okay? So some words, they really go together. They occur more often together we call these words, actually, we call this system collocations, right? So some words collocate well with other words, okay? And some words do not collocate, right? So this is when I say that they match or they don't match. Let's see some examples with highly, deeply, and utterly, okay? So let's go.
Adverb and adjective collocations. Highly. Highly unlikely. Highly recommended. The restaurant comes highly recommended. Highly controversial. This topic is highly controversial and very difficult. Highly effective. The secession campaign was also highly effective. Highly probable. Success is highly probable. Highly unusual. We've not had any snow yet, which is highly unusual. Highly profitable. It is a low-profile but highly profitable enterprise. Highly successful. This coal pipeline has been highly successful. Adverb and adjective collocations. Deeply. Deeply worried. I'm deeply worried about you. Deeply competitive. He's deeply competitive and quite motivated. Deeply affected. The train system has been deeply affected. Deeply ashamed. I am deeply ashamed of what I have done. Deeply committed. It was a deeply committed performance. Deeply divided. The issue has created a deeply divided nation. Deeply regrettable. My insensitive comment is deeply regrettable. Deeply unhappy. I was deeply unhappy. Adverb and adjective collocations. Utterly. Utterly ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous and totally absurd. Utterly wrong. The detention of children is utterly wrong. Utterly alone. He's not just antisocial, he's utterly alone. Utterly amazed. I'm utterly amazed as a basketball coach, he said. Utterly appalled. I'm utterly appalled, but it doesn't surprise me. Utterly beautiful. She always looks utterly beautiful. Utterly fantastic. He was utterly fantastic. Utterly furious. He is utterly furious, and he wants to get even.
So the topic will be adverb collocations, as you've noticed already, and we'll also cover reading and speaking and the listening part. All right. So if you have your books, please open your books to page 61. All right, let's go there. Okay, guys, can you visualize the page? Can you say it? Yeah. So this is what we were talking about in the short video, adverb collocations, right? So let's take a look first at some special words. We call them extreme adjectives, right? Why do you think they are extreme adjectives? If you take a look here at this box, you will see the differences, right? Look, which group of adjectives goes with which of the adverbs? Which group of adjectives goes with which group of adverbs? So here we have adjective A and adjectives B, okay? Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Oh, so which group of adjectives do you think go with which group of adverbs? The adverbs we have very and absolutely. Okay, so let's try to see. For example, the first group, group A, which adverb can we use with the first group? Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see better. Okay. So what do you think? We have adjectives like good, bad, big, wet, valuable, silly, interesting. So what do I use with them? Very or absolutely? For example, do I say very tired or absolutely tired? Very happy or absolutely happy? Very smart or absolutely smart? Very good. If you said very, you are correct. Okay? Exactly. So very is the best adverb to use with the first group, group A, right? Now let's take a look at group B. Look at the adjectives there. Marvelous, huge, enormous, exhausted, hilarious, right? So which one do I use with these adjectives? Okay,
Absolutely.
very good,
Absolutely.
Esther. Absolutely. So these adjectives here are considered extreme, okay? Because they are, if we take a look at adjectives in general, we can notice that they have grades from non-extreme or regular to extreme. They go like from 0 to 100, depending on the level of emphasis you give. So, for example, when I say, oh, I'm happy today, it's okay. Now, if I say, for example, I'm delighted today, I'm delighted, then I'm using another degree, okay? I'm not just happy, I'm delighted. All right, guys, so that's the idea. And with these adverbs, I use absolutely. Very is not appropriate, okay? So here I can say absolutely priceless, absolutely gorgeous, absolutely delighted. All right? Okay. So here they want us to match the adjectives in A with adjectives with similar meaning in B. So let's try to do the matching here. Now putting the adverbs apart, okay? But trying to match only the adjectives so that we can find the ones that have a similar meaning, okay? Example, good. Which adverb here, sorry, which adjective here has a similar meaning to good?
Excellent.
Okay, great. Very good. So that's the idea. So let me just here. Good and excellent. Okay. Now I'll give you 1 minute to find some other pairs. Okay, and then we share with the class. Try to find some other pairs. It's not necessary to find all of them. Find some more, okay, and then we correct. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute. Let's do it. Let's see, what do you have? Have you found any other combinations here? I mean, synonyms?
Yes. Big and huge. Huge, eu acho. Entende?
Huge, yes.
Uh,
Pronunciation, huge.
huge.
Good, good.
Tired, tired and exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Exhausted.
Exhausted.
Nice and marvelous, I think.
Which one?
Nice and
Mm,
marvelous.
okay, very good. Uh-huh, excellent. Which one? Any other? Bad and awful. Okay, Nathan
Funny
found
and funny and hilarious.
hilarious. Mm-hmm.
Hilarious.
Great. All right, people. That's it. Any other?
Um,
Unusual. Okay. Extraordinary. Very good, Nathan.
Interesting,
smart,
fascinating.
Interesting, fascinating. Okay.
smart and brilliant.
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Smart and brilliant. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Okay. Excellent. Very good, guys. Perfect. So now we are going to practice a little bit. Complete these conversations using suitable adjectives. So let's take a look at the first one together. Did you get wet in that shower? Shower. It was a downpour. We're absolutely
Soaked.
soaked. Very good. Excellent, guys. So you know what to do. Try to find now the answers to 2 through 6, and then we correct. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. I'll give you for this one 2 minutes, okay? All right, people, let's check it out. I'll play the audio for you here because then you can correct by listening to the conversations, right? So let's take a look.
Track 18. 1.
Did you get wet in that shower?
Shower? It was a downpour. We're absolutely soaking.
2.
I bet you were excited when your team won.
Excited? We were absolutely thrilled.
3. I'm so happy you are coming on vacation with us.
Well, I was absolutely delighted to be asked.
4.
Come on, nobody will notice that tiny spot on your nose.
They will. I just know they will. It's absolutely enormous.
5.
I thought she looked rather silly in that flowery hat, didn't you?
Silly. She looked absolutely ridiculous.
6.
Oh dear. Did you have a bad day at work?
Bad. It was absolutely awful.
Okay, guys, let me just correct something here. In this conversation, number 5, they say flowery, okay, not flowery you, all right? So this is a mistake from the book. So just for you to notice. And so the person says flowery hat, right? Okay, guys, do you want to listen one more time so you can get your answers corrected? Yes? Okay, so I'll play one more time.
Track 18. 1.
Did you get wet in that shower?
Shower? It was a downpour. We're absolutely soaking.
2.
I bet you were excited when your team won.
Excited? We were absolutely thrilled.
3. I'm so happy you are coming on vacation with us.
Well, I was absolutely delighted to be asked.
4.
Come on, nobody will notice that tiny spot on your nose.
They will. I just know they will. It's absolutely enormous.
5.
I thought she looked rather silly in that flowery hat, didn't you?
Silly. She looked absolutely ridiculous.
6.
Oh dear. Did you have a bad day at work?
Bad. It was absolutely awful.
Okay, guys, yeah? So did you get everything right? Yes? Hope so. So after checking it out, let's take a look now at pretty as an adverb, okay? So the adverb pretty has different meanings depending on the tone a speaker says it. So here, guys, this lesson, there is no way out of, really checking out each one of them, like reading the instructions and everything, because it's vocabulary. So it's interesting for us to go over all the questions, all right? So here, they say the adverb pretty has different meanings depending on the tone a speaker says it. Listen and repeat these sentences, which in each pair is more positive. So I'm going to play the audio for you to listen so you can know the difference. Okay, listen up.
Track 19. 1. A.
She's pretty smart.
1. B.
She's pretty smart.
2A.
He's pretty nice.
2B.
He's pretty nice.
All right. They sound very similar, don't they? Yes. So we use pretty as an intensifier, okay, guys, to intensify an adjective. So, oh, that's pretty good. I can say that way, okay? Oh, that's pretty easy. All right. So we usually use pretty with ungradable adjectives. Oh, sorry, the opposite. Gradable adjectives. Gradable are these ones here, the ones that you can intensify. These are what we call ungradable. These I cannot intensify because they are already intense. They are extreme. So here in other words, maybe in some other grammar books, you may find this definition, okay? Gradable, ungradable. So these ones here are the graded ones that we use, or gradable ones that we use with very, pretty, okay? These ones are fine. I can say, oh, that's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty bad. Oh, that's pretty big. Okay, guys, that's the idea. So back here to the question, we're going to listen one more time so you can notice which pair is more positive, this one here or this one, number 1 or number 2. So listen up.
Track 19. 1A.
She's pretty smart.
1B.
She's pretty smart.
2A.
He's pretty nice.
2B.
He's pretty nice.
Okay, guys, did you notice the difference? Yes or no? Not much. Yeah, not much. We could notice a little difference between A and B. 1A, 1B.
I think 1B is more intense than
Then 1A. Okay.
Yes, 1A.
Very good. What about number 2? Which one is more intense, more positive?
In the 2B, she say nice, more intense. But I didn't see a difference in the pretty.
Okay. So let's play
19.
once again so you can
1A.
differentiate.
She's pretty smart.
1B.
She's pretty smart.
2A.
He's pretty nice.
2B.
He's pretty nice.
So of course, guys, with intonation, we can feel the difference, right? When we write, when we read, we may not give the appropriate differentiation, but when we pronounce, and when we give the intonation, we can make a difference, right? Like we can see clearly that 1B is more positive than 1A, and 2B is more positive than 2A, okay? So let's check it out. Look, okay, 1B and 2B are more positive. Of course, we could feel that with the intonation. All right, people. So here, let's mark. Okay. Now, read the sentences aloud according to the meaning. So let's take a look at these two here. Let me zoom in. Look. First of all, read the sentences in silence so you know what it is about, what they're saying. Okay, then we try to read aloud. Okay, so how would you say the first one, letter A? Can we have a volunteer? Here, 1A sounds enthusiastic, right? So we could say, oh, the movie was pretty interesting. You should go and see it. Now, what about 1B? Can you try it out? Can you read it out loud so we know how it sounds?
The movie was pretty interesting, but I wouldn't really recommend it.
Great, thank you, Esther. Perfect.
Welcome.
That's the idea. You see, big difference between A and B, right? And in both situations, I can use pretty, okay, as an adverb. Let's see number 2. 2A. I'm pretty tired after that last game. Should we call it a day? Now 2B. Can I have a volunteer to read that?
I'm pretty tired, but I'm up for another game tour.
Awesome. Thank you, Esther. You see the difference?
Teacher.
Yes.
In the 2A, I didn't understand. We call it a day. Should we call it a day?
Great. Awesome. Let me show you just a second. Let me just erase here the mark that I made. So does anybody know the meaning of should we call it a day? Let me see if you know the meaning. Yeah, this is right. Does anybody know? No? So should we call it a day means should we stop here, right? Whatever we are doing and go to bed, or because it's, I've had it, it's too much, I'm tired. So when I say should we call it a day means should we finish for today and then tomorrow we continue, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, we use that a lot when we are talking about working. Sometimes we work so much, and then when we get to the end, it's not necessary to be the end of the day, but it's a part of the activity that you just don't want anymore. You want to continue the other day. So you say, oh, that's okay for today. Let's call it a day, right? I've had it. So it's just to say that you don't want to do anything else now. You want to stop, relax. Okay. That's the idea. So let's listen, check, and repeat. Let's practice that.
Track 20. 1A. The movie was pretty interesting. You should go and see it. 1B.
The movie was pretty interesting, but I wouldn't really recommend it.
2A. I'm pretty tired after that last game. Should we call it a day? 2B.
I'm pretty tired, but I'm up for another game if you are.
Okay, guys, so there is a difference, okay? So now let's take a look at this. Does everybody know that the Oscars will be tomorrow? Tomorrow, yeah, Sunday. That's right. Tomorrow night. So you see, right on time. So read the speech. Who is speaking? Why? Then, after that, rewrite the speech and make it sound more extreme by changing and adding adjectives and adverbs. So here we have a picture of what we call the red carpet. Do you watch the red carpet on Oscars nights? Do you usually watch the Oscars? No?
I don't watch it. I just, how do I say acompanho?
Follow.
I just follow the news and see on Twitter, things like that.
Okay, okay, all right. So, me neither. I sometimes watch. I actually try to watch, but I don't get to watch all the time. Sometimes it finishes so late at night and I get tired, I go to sleep. So, but I try to watch whenever possible. This year, because of the pandemic, I don't even know the nominees, but I will check it out later today. So let's see here. First of all, we are going to read the speech, okay? And try to decide who is speaking and why. Okay, let's focus on this first. So I will show you, and you're going to decide that as you read, okay, guys? So I'll give you, let's say, 3 minutes to do that, okay? And then we check. Yes, let's check out. Who do you think wrote this, or who do you think said that actually? Who do you think is speaking? No idea.
Director?
Maybe, maybe. All right, let's listen and check, okay? Let's see if the audio is on. Yes.
Track 21. A Night at the Oscars. I am absolutely amazed and delighted to receive this award. I am truly grateful to all those wonderful people who voted for me. It is extremely rare for a musical to win Best Movie, so this is a huge honor. None of us could have predicted Angel Voice would be such an enormous success. It was an absolutely fantastic movie to do, not only because of all the intelligent people who worked on it, but also because of the incredible amount of stunning new talent we were able to develop. My special thanks go to the gifted writer Clark Miller for the fascinating characters and hilarious script, to Michael Kellerman, the excellent musical director, for the marvelous songs and thrilling musical score, to the set and costume designers for their truly amazing creativity, and last but not least, to my wife Marcia for her priceless support. I absolutely adore you all.
Very different, right? Now with the extreme adverbs. So you see, he sounds really more enthusiastic than what it is here, right, in the text. So probably yes, a director wrote it. So they want us to actually do what he said, right? Rewrite the speech and make it sound more extreme. So I'll just show you the answers and you try to take a picture or get a print screen for that. Okay, so we don't waste too much time doing each adjective here and changing everything. So I'll just show you the answers to that. All right. So let me. Okay, guys, here you go. Probably we won't be able to fit everything here in the screen, but you can get the first half here up to the word stunning. Okay. And now down a little bit more. Okay, guys, can I close? Yes? Okay, thank you. So if you want, guys, I can send the script over to you, okay? Because we're not allowed to send the audio anymore. The course prohibited the teachers of sharing the audio and the book pages with the students. So we can't send them anymore. But if you want, I can send the script for you. Oh, guys, by the way, about the online practice, remember we talked about last class. I talked to our coordinator there at school, and she is checking it out to see if she can include Headway 4 in your class account, okay? And then she'll send it to me, but she'll give me an answer today. All right, guys, and then I'll let you know. So we finished this part. Okay, let's move on to page 62 then. Do you have any questions about the first part here? We will practice this more, okay, guys? Don't worry. So now we are going to a reading part, okay? And this is quite funny, I'd say. So let's take a look there. First of all, guys, have you ever been to New York? Do you know New York City? No, nobody? Okay, so in New York, there is this big park called Central Park, okay? And it's very famous. A lot of people go there, and residents go to Central Park to exercise, to walk. Sometimes they have picnics there. So it's a very nice park indeed. Here, we're going to read something about a very hilarious, I would say hilarious situation in Central Park. Absolutely hilarious, because this is super funny. Tarzan of Central Park. So write down 3 things you know about New York City. So that was my first question. What else do you know about New York City? Besides Central Park, everybody knows that. What else do you know about New York? Not much? Okay, so let me show you a picture. Okay, let me get a picture to check it out. Here we have the story. Okay, so I'll ask you to read the story in silence, right? And then we can answer the questions we have here. Life among the treetops. I like the solitude. A 5-room split level home. Friends come to visit. The party's over. The perfect job. So just reading the headlines here. What do you think he does? Do you think he lives in Central Park? That would be crazy. Especially in winter. Central Park gets covered in snow during winter. It's really cold. So I don't think he lives in Central Park. So let's see, guys. Let's take a look at the text and try to answer at least questions from number 3, okay? And See if you understand better what they mean by enormous cliffs of stone and cement on each side. Okay, let me just highlight that for you. Oh, sorry. Do you all have the book, people? Because sometimes I'm assuming here that you have the book, but you don't. So I will put the text here for you to read. Does everybody here have the book? Let me see. Who doesn't have the book? Okay, Nathan, only you? So is Nathan the only one who has the book? Okay, Gabriel?
No, I have the book too.
You do? It's there. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So Nathan, Gabriel, there. Only? Okay, so I will keep the text here on the screen for the other students who don't have the book to read, okay?
Teacher, sorry,
Yes.
but what you asked?
I asked if you have the book.
Oh, I have.
You do, okay. So Esther, Nathan, Danilo, Gabriel, only 4 so far. So if you have the books, please open your book to page 63 and let's take a look at this reading to understand why they call him Tarzan and what is this story of staying in Central Park. What's going on? Why is this guy so famous in the first place? Okay, so we will take a look, and don't worry if you don't have the book, I'll keep the text here. Okay, so let's take a look. What an interesting story, isn't it? And what a creative guy, because you see, he used to live in 3 houses in Central Park, and of course, hidden from the authorities because
But teacher,
What do you think?
is it free?
Yeah, it's true.
But it's this area is how can I say this, open to the people's build house.
No, it's not open for people to build houses, but he decided to live in a tree house. And so he found a place there in the middle of Central Park, which is huge, right? We don't have I don't know the exact size of Central Park, but it's very big. And it's kind of easy to hide in one of those trees. Of course, after some time, they will find you, but so he decided to do that and he tried. It worked for a few months and almost a year, I think, the first house. And then eventually he has to come down and he couldn't keep it the way it was. The park authorities, they found him and they gave him a job because he's talented. He's super talented. And the houses he built didn't hurt the trees, didn't harm the trees because he didn't use any nails, you know, to fix the houses there. So he just built the house, but protecting the trees of the park. That's why the director of the park, Mr. Serp, decided to give him a job, as he liked so much the environment and he was so used to being there among trees. He gave Mr. Redmond a job, he offered him a job, right, as a professional pruner and a tree climber. What is a professional pruner? Do you know?
No.
A professional pruner is a person who occasionally cuts some branches of the tree to keep the tree alive, to keep the tree looking good. So it's a nice job if you like working with trees and plants, because you don't prune only the trees, but any kind of plant when they start growing and they don't have a nice shape. If you hire a professional pruner, they will go there and cut the extra pieces and branches that are not useful anymore, just to keep the tree healthy, you know. Also the plants, we need to prune the plants every now and then, okay, when they're growing, so they can grow stronger. You know what I mean? Okay. And a tree climber for the Central Park Conservancy. So here, look, he got a job to work with the trees there. So that was very nice. Okay. All right. Okay, Danilo.
Okay, teacher.
So now, let's check the answers to the questions before we go for our break. Okay. Here. This is page 62, exercise 3 answers, okay? So if you don't know, guys, this is interesting information about this character, Tarzan. I don't know if you've ever heard of this character before, but he was a fictional character who lived in the jungle and was brought up by apes, right? Monkeys. So number 2, you should stay in a room on a high floor in a hotel at the southern end of Central Park. You get extraordinary views. This is the answer to exercise 3 here. What advice is given about where to stay, okay, in New York? And the third question, what are the enormous cliffs of stone and cement? Let's see. The enormous cliffs of stone and cement are the buildings on each side of the park. Okay. All right, guys. So let's close this one here and let's move on to the next. Guys, the next one, we are going to complete the sentences. It's actually not complete, but we're going to say if they are true or false, okay? We're going to read and see if they're true or false. So let me zoom in here so you can see better. Look, people near the park thought that someone might be living among the treetops. What do you think? Is that true or false? True. Okay, guys. Bob Redmond was raised among trees in the countryside. True or false? False. Okay. He built 14 tree houses all together.
I think it's false. I think it's 30. No, 30, no.
Yes, it's
30,
false. 3 houses, basically. Right? Not 14. He gave an interview to the New York Times.
Well, I think it's false.
True.
True?
Yes, he gave
Oh,
an interview. Bob felt lonely sometimes, especially at night.
it's false.
Yes, he had friends over, right?
Yes, and he liked night.
Yeah. He rented his final house to some friends.
No, I think no. It's false.
False. Yes. He was happy to see friends as long as they behaved well.
I think yes. It's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Exactly. Bob's tree houses were usually detected very quickly.
Yes.
Mhm. False. I think
No?
they were detected, but anyway, not so quickly. They were eventually detected, but not as quickly as we think.
Uh,
It took like 4 months, 5, 6 months. So the park director was very impressed with Bob's workmanship. Yes, that's true. Okay. He was really impressed with his talent. Unfortunately, Bob had to go to jail.
what is jail?
Prison.
Oh, no, I think no.
No,
Oh,
false. So check your answers there, guys. See if you got everything right. Okay. So let's see here the correction for the false answers. Look, number 2 is false. He was brought up in a tiny apartment in Manhattan. Look, Danilo, you were correct. He built 13 tree houses, not only 3, 13. That was quite a lot. Here, he liked the solitude, but he didn't feel lonely. Never. He never felt lonely. Here, the writer asks how much the rent might have been for his last house because it was very grand. Okay. They often weren't found for long periods, sometimes as long as a whole year. So they weren't found quickly. Okay. So here, number 8 is false. Number 9, true. Number 10, false. Okay. So let's check out number 8 again because
if you one day I go to New York, I will search by this house.
yes, of course. Okay. So exactly, look, number 8 says Bob's tree houses were usually detected very quickly. False. They weren't. Okay. They took some time to be detected. Like they said there, sometimes even a whole year. Imagine. He was very good. So make sure you go to Central Park when you go to New York and try to find some information about this guy. He might still be there. Yeah, you might find him. Yeah, it's interesting because then you can try to talk to him about his story. Okay. Okay, guys, it's already noon, right? We are not going to do this part here. It's not necessary. And then we will have a short break of 10 minutes so we can stretch our legs a little bit and have some coffee. After the break, we continue um, to the next page. Okay, so let me take a picture before we go to the break. Okay, let's go 1, 2, 3. All right, guys. So stay there, okay? We are almost finishing. Don't go anywhere. I will just pause here a little bit and drink some water, okay? So look, This part will talk about extreme temperatures. So we've already talked about extreme adjectives, remember? So you can see the difference between gradable and ungradable. So the extreme adjectives we saw today, they are ungradable. They are already extreme. We saw the words we usually use with them. We use absolutely with ungradable adjectives. And with gradable adjectives, we use the word very, the adverb very. But we can also use really. Okay, guys, I will send you a picture of the two groups of adjectives and the most common adverbs that we use with them. All right, so you know. And now here we are going to see some extreme temperatures. Take a look at the two pictures here, right? So they really illustrate extreme temperatures. So what's the coldest, hottest, or wettest place you've ever been? Do you remember? Well, the coldest place I've ever been was Salt Lake City, Utah. That's Midwest United States. It's cold in winter only, but during spring and summer, no problem. But most places north of the United States or even Canada, they're extremely cold, okay, especially in winter. All right, people. What about you guys? Do you remember any extreme temperature you've experienced? Yeah, the central part of Brazil is really hot. If you go to places like Cuiabá, Mato Grosso, even the Amazon is very hot because it's hot and humid. The Amazon is very humid, so that's why you feel the heat. Yes, and the central part of Brazil is really hot too. Okay, guys. So you're going to listen to two people, Simone and Anna, recalling their extreme experiences of heat and cold. Look at the words in the boxes here and discuss what you think happened. So let's take a look at the first one. Simone, okay? Can you visualize that, people? Yes. Okay. So here we have a nightclub, heat exhaustion, salt tablets, the pyramids, a motorcycle, sunrise, a taxi. What do you think happened here? Yeah, maybe. Probably. Yeah, a nightclub in the middle of the desert. Imagine. Yes, because you see here, what can you see behind her? So this pyramid, guys, is not so far from the city. Actually, it's pretty close. This part of the desert is close to the city. So yeah, probably she went to a nightclub near the pyramid and probably it was overnight because we have here the sunrise. So imagine what an experience. Yeah, and it's really hot there. Now, what about the second picture? Let's see. That's Anna, right? And look at the words. An anonymous landscape, huge apartment buildings, frozen nostrils, a tram, scarves, an old lady, bonfire. So first, let's see the meaning of some words. Does everybody know the meaning of nostrils? Any idea, guys? Yes, exactly. Very good, Nathan. The holes in your nose, okay? They are your nostrils. So, of course, guys, if you are in a very cold place and it's hard to breathe, really, because the air is very cold, it's freezing. So, the moment you try to inhale, um, it freezes your noses, right? So it's very difficult to breathe in these cold places. It's better to stay indoors. If you have to go outdoors, you need to protect yourself. Uh, Wear a thick scarf. Okay, so this is the plural for scarf. And here we have also a tram in the picture. Okay, just to show you what a tram is, we have something like that here in downtown Rio. They have this new tram that connects the airport to some neighborhoods. It's here in Brazil. It's called VLT. VLT. VLT is very light transport. Okay, but actually it's a tram, right? Now it's common to see trams in many different cities. And bonfire. What is a bonfire? Yeah, exactly. You light a bonfire. You light a bonfire when it's very cold. And for example, you are in the countryside and it's more common there because it's super cold. And then people light a bonfire, they sit around it, and they talk all night long sometimes, right? Or they sing. It's very common to see bonfires here during the month of June in Brazil, June and July, when we have the June festival. And people usually celebrate the June festival with bazaars selling food and other things. And there's usually a bonfire in the middle where people play around, and sometimes they make hot potato and the bonfire. Yes, it's really nice. It's a very nice thing to do, especially when it's cold. Okay, guys. So do you all understand the meaning of bonfire? All right. So let's listen to the story and see what happened. Okay, guys.
Track 22. Extreme temperatures. Simone.
Well, it was when I was living in Cairo, and it was in the middle of the summer, so it was extremely hot, between 40 and 45 degrees Celsius, or about 104 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit. And stupidly, we decided to go dancing. And we went to this nightclub, and we must have danced for hours and hours. And it was very hot inside the nightclub, and we were sweating profusely. And by the time we came out, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. And we decided, oh, wouldn't it be a great idea to go to the pyramids to see the sunrise? So we jumped in a taxi, and the taxi was also pretty stuffy and hot, and we must have been starting to dehydrate at this point. Anyway, we got to the pyramids, and the sun was just starting to come up. And in Egypt, as soon as the sun comes up, the temperature rises dramatically. But we were so excited to see the pyramids that we decided just to go and walk and see. At this point, a man approached us and asked us if we wanted to borrow or rent his motorcycle, and so we said yes. So my friend and I, we jumped onto the motorcycle and raced out into the desert, only to find after about 10, 15 minutes that the motorcycle was kind of old, and suddenly it broke down. So we were miles from anywhere and had to push this motorcycle to get back. I was the one at the back pushing the motorcycle, and of course I was using lots of energy. I was losing a lot of fluid, and it was getting hotter and hotter. Anyway, we ended up having to walk back to the town to give the motorcycle back to the man, and by this time, we were really fed up and tired and very hot, so we decided to go home. By the time we got home, I started to feel a little bit strange. I had a bit of a headache, and I decided to go straight to bed. Anyway, I woke up about half an hour later feeling pretty confused and sick, a little bit nauseous, and I realized that my brain wasn't working properly and that, in fact, I probably had heat exhaustion. Anyway, it wasn't very pleasant, and it was a lesson in what not to do in such hot temperatures. I've never done that again. I always carry my salt tablets with me.
Wow. So what happened to her? Can you tell us? Okay, so let's try to answer the questions here. For example, first one is easy. Okay, guys, where was she? Where was she? Yes, in Cairo. Excellent. What was the temperature? Really high, yes. About 45 degrees, imagine. Okay, what did she do that was silly? Yes, yes, that's right. So I will do the following. I will play it one more time so you can get the answers to the exercises, okay? And then we move on to Anna. Okay, let's see.
Track 22. Extreme temperatures. Simone.
Well, it was when I was living in Cairo, and it was in the middle of the summer, so it was extremely hot, between 40 and 45 degrees Celsius, or about 104 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, so here we already have the answers to questions 1 and 2. Where was she? In Cairo. What was the temperature? 40, between 40 and 45 degrees Celsius. Okay. In Fahrenheit, 104 to 113. That's quite a lot. Okay. So what did she do that was silly? Let's see.
And stupidly, we decided to go dancing. And we went to this nightclub, and we must have danced for hours and hours.
So what was silly? What did she do that was silly? Exactly. She went to a nightclub and she danced for hours. Especially here, it was very hot. So like she says here, it was very hot inside the nightclub and we were sweating profusely. What's the meaning of sweating? Does anybody know?
So it is what your clothes. Your clothes? Is it?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Is the clothes? It's the mode of clothes you are using.
Okay.
Não é a roupa que você está vestindo?
No, it's not related to your clothes. It's related to your body, right? When you sweat, it's because it's very hot. So your body, in order to keep your body temperature balanced, it eliminates some fluid through your skin. So you sweat. You get fluid under your armpits, sometimes in between your legs. In very specific places, we sweat more than in other places because depending on the temperature, right, the weather, we can sweat. Some people even sweat on the head, right? I feel very hot when it's summertime here in Brazil, and I have to take like 3, 4 showers in a day because I sweat and I feel uncomfortable, right? When I sweat. So sweat is exactly this when your body eliminates fluid to keep the temperature balanced. Okay? So do you get it now, Danilo? Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Thanks.
So you're welcome. So because they were in a nightclub
It's like the water.
yes, yes, it's the water that comes out of your body.
Okay.
You eliminate that a lot. For example, when you do exercise, if you do a strenuous exercise, you sweat a lot. Okay. If you run, you sweat. Okay. So here, because they were inside the nightclub, they were sweating profusely there. Okay. So that's the situation where she was. So let's take a look at more details. That was very silly. Imagine high temperature and she danced for hours. Not a good thing to do, okay? So let's see the next question. What kinds of transportation did she use?
It was very hot inside the nightclub, and we were sweating profusely. And by the time we came out, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. And we decided, oh, wouldn't it be a great idea to go to the pyramids to see the sunrise?
So after having danced for all night, I mean, all night long, they decided to go to the pyramids to see the sunrise. Yeah, because they left the nightclub at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I guess that was silly. That was really silly. She should have gone home, right? But then she decided, oh, let's see the sunrise. Mm. So let's see the transportation she used.
So we jumped in a taxi, and the taxi was also pretty stuffy and hot.
Good. What do you understand by stuffy, people? This is very good vocabulary for you. So the first transportation she used was a taxi. Okay, you can put it there. Taxi. Now, what were the conditions in the taxi? Stuffy and hot. Look at the adverb here. Pretty stuffy and hot. So what do you think she means by stuffy? Yes, exactly. When there is no oxygen enough to breathe. If you are in a very small place and it's closed, there are no windows, the place can get stuffy. Suppose there are like 3, 4 people inside an elevator. Okay, guys, it's common, so you can relate to that. You are in this elevator and there are 4 people, and suddenly the elevator stops. There is no air conditioner, all right, and the fan is broken. The temperature outside is high. It's summertime. So how do you feel inside the elevator? Hot, of course. You start after some time feeling hot. And it gets stuffy because you start feeling the need to breathe fresh air, and there isn't any, right? Inside the elevator, there isn't. So you start, oh my God, it's stuffy in here. So you try to go out, you try to open the door, you call emergency or somebody else to help. So it gets stuffy. All right, do you understand the meaning of that word now? Yes, so inside the taxi where she was, it was stuffy and hot. Okay, so let's move on.
And we must have been starting to dehydrate at this point. Anyway, we got to the pyramids, and the sun was just starting to come up. And in Egypt, as soon as the sun comes up, the temperature rises dramatically. But we were so excited to see the pyramids that we decided just to go and walk and see.
So that was really silly, okay, guys, because first they were dancing, they danced all night long. They jumped in a taxi that was stuffy and hot. And then as they were almost beginning to dehydrate, it's when you start losing a lot of fluid from your body, you dehydrate. They decided to go walking to the pyramids, even though it's not a long distance, but as it was very hot, that wasn't recommended, okay? But okay, it was early in the morning, so they thought, it's okay, it's early in the morning, the sun is coming up. But in Egypt, when the sun comes up, the temperature rises dramatically. Here we have an adverb collocation here with the verb rise, okay, to show you. So they decided to just go walk and see the pyramids, okay? So listen.
At this point, a man approached us and asked us if we wanted to borrow or rent his motorcycle, and so we said yes. So my friend and I, we jumped onto the motorcycle and raced out into the desert, only to find after about 10-15 minutes that the motorcycle was kind of old, and suddenly it broke down.
Oh, they were super unlucky, right? They rented a motorcycle to get faster to the pyramids, but it happened that the motorcycle was old, right? So here we have the other transportation they used. So first a taxi, then a motorcycle, okay? All right, so let's go on. Next question, where was she going to and why? This one we can answer. She was going to the pyramids. Why? To see the sunrise, okay? What did she see when she arrived? Let's see the answer.
So we were miles from anywhere and had to push this motorcycle to get back. I was the one at the back pushing the motorcycle, and of course I was using lots of energy. I was losing a lot of fluid, and it was getting hotter and hotter. Anyway, we ended up having to walk back to the town to give the motorcycle back to the man. And by this time, we were really fed up and tired and very hot. So we decided to go home.
So, did they get to see the pyramids and the sunrise? No, obviously not. The motorcycle broke down in the middle of the way and they had to go back to the city to return the motorcycle back to the man, and they were really fed up when they got there. So what's the meaning of fed up, people? This is a nice phrasal verb for you. Actually, not a phrasal verb, but an adjective.
Exhausted.
Yes, exhausted, fed up. It's not really exhausted, but it's very informal to say that sometimes you're not physically exhausted, but you are emotionally done. You know, it's another way to say, oh, I can't do it anymore.
Não aguenta mais.
Yes, that's it. Suppose you were studying hard for a test, and after the whole day studying, you can say, "Oh, let's call it a day. I'm fed up. I've had it." So you can use that expression from the other page. You can say, "Oh, let's call it a day. I'm done for today. I'm fed up. I can't see this book anymore." Okay, so it's very colloquial, very informal to say that. Oh, I'm fed up. Can't take this anymore. Like, for example, about the pandemic, a lot of people are fed up. They can't take it anymore. It's boring having to wear a mask, wash your
Yeah.
hands all the time, stay home. So everybody is pretty much fed up. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So then here, she went back to the city without actually getting to the pyramids. Okay. So let's see the next one. What did she see when she arrived? So let's say.
By the time we got home, I started to feel a little bit strange. I had a bit of a headache, and I decided to go straight to bed. Anyway,
So here, guys, as I can see from the other questions, they are talking about the guy they met in the middle, right? And to see if this person was helpful or not. As I understand, they are still talking about when they were on the way to the pyramids, right? So what did she see when she arrived? So we could say, oh, she saw a guy with a motorcycle. And who did she meet? This guy. Was he helpful? Yes. Somehow he was helpful because he rented a motorcycle. Now, how did the temperature affect her? A lot, right? Because it was hot. She was dehydrated, and she didn't drink any water on her way to the pyramid. So she was feeling bad. And look how she woke up half an hour later, feeling pretty confused and sick, a little bit nauseous. Nauseous is when you feel like vomiting or throwing up. Okay, so that was bad. Now, what happened in the end? Let's try to get that answer.
I woke up about half an hour later feeling pretty confused and sick, a little bit nauseous, and I realized that my brain wasn't working properly and that, in fact, I probably had heat exhaustion. Anyway, it wasn't very pleasant, and it was a lesson in what not to do in such hot temperatures. I've never done that again. I always carry my salt tablets with me.
So what happened to her? She had heat exhaustion. Okay, it's when you expose your body to high temperatures and you don't drink water, or you don't pay attention to your blood pressure. It can go down drastically, right? And then you feel sick. Some people even faint. Okay, guys, that's why here she says, I always carry my salt tablets with me,
Teacher,
just in case.
what is salt tablets?
Okay, good question. Does anybody know what salt tablets are?
I don't know.
No? Salt
No.
tablets, they are little tablets made of salt, of course, to help push your blood pressure higher, because you sometimes you have a problem of low blood pressure and you feel like you're going to faint. So if you swallow one of those tablets, then you feel better because they are made of salt. Okay, let me show you a picture so you know what yeah, just to put your, so to stabilize your blood pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
Good.
have, I don't know if we have those here in Brazil, but let me try to get a picture to show you. All right, just for you to have an idea. Now back to the book. You asked appropriately or properly. Okay, I realized that my brain wasn't working properly. Properly is the same as appropriately, wasn't working well, okay? She was getting confused. Look, all right, Danilo. So something proper is something good, something okay. And if something is working properly, something is working well, okay? Everything is fine. But if it isn't working properly, then it isn't fine. There is a problem, okay? So after that, she learned the lesson, and now she always carries salt tablets with her, okay? Her salt tablets, just in case, okay? All right, people. So now let's move on to finish to Anna's case, okay? Guess the answers to the same questions about Anna's story. So here, they are going to use the same questions to guide us through Anna's story, okay? Let's listen and answer the questions in the exercise 3 about Anna. Okay, let's take a look.
Track 23. Anna.
The time that I was very, very cold was a time when I was working in a small town in central Russia, and I was going to see some friends who lived on the outskirts of town, and they were worried about me getting lost, and they said that they'd come to the tram stop to meet me. But I wanted to be independent, so I told them, "Don't be silly, of course I'll find it." And on the day of the visit, it was very, very cold. It might have been minus 30 degrees Celsius or minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, but it might have been colder than that, and it was so cold that at some of the tram stops and bus stops, there were bonfires lit, special street fires to keep people warm. And I think it was a day when the schools were closed, when the children didn't go to school because it was so cold. So I put on all the clothes that I had, all the scarves and sweaters, and I took the tram to the outskirts of the town where my friends lived way out at the end of the line, and I got off the tram, which was heated, into this cold white world. And it was so cold that when you breathed in, little balls of ice formed in your nostrils. You had to keep a scarf over your mouth and nose. About a minute, 2 minutes after getting off the tram, my feet and hands were already hurting, they were so cold. So I was walking around trying to find the apartment, but it was completely anonymous, this landscape. And there were these huge snow-covered white apartment buildings. These buildings, 15 or 16 floors, but they all looked exactly the same, and I couldn't find the name of the street either, and it was very, very quiet, and the tram had gone, and I began, actually, to get very frightened because I was feeling so, so cold. My feet and hands had gone beyond hurting almost. I couldn't feel them anymore. It was pretty difficult to breathe because of the icy scarf over my mouth and nose, and I just couldn't find where they lived. And I asked an old lady the way, but my Russian wasn't good enough. She didn't understand me. And I was beginning to really seriously panic when suddenly in the distance I saw my friends. They'd come to find me, and they took me home.
Oh, thank God. What a bad experience. Wow. So first of all, guys, where was she? Anna. Where was she? The answer to that is in a small town in central Russia. Wow, that's very cold. So where was she going to? Oh, sorry, what was the temperature? Needless to say, right? It was freezing. What did she do that was silly? Exactly. She decided to go see some friends who lived on the outskirts of town. Guys, in a weather like this, you better stay home. Don't try to go anywhere, right? And unfortunately, she thought she could handle it. She saw it and just, maybe she thought, oh, this is like in the US. In the US, we get snow and it's okay. We go out in the snow. But this is not the US. This is Russia. It's colder. And then she thought, oh, I can do this. I'll go and visit my friends. Okay. So don't try to do this, especially in Russia. So that's where she was going. Um, so the friends, they, of course, they were worried about her getting lost, and they said they'd come to the tram stop to meet me. So to help her, since she decided to go, her friends said, okay, we will pick you up at the tram stop just in case you get lost, so you don't need to feel afraid or anything. It will be all right. And then, because she wanted to be so independent, she told them, oh no, don't be silly. I'll find it. So she declined the help. So she said, oh, it's so cold. You don't need to go out. Stay indoors. I'll do it myself. All right. So who did she meet? Did she meet anybody to help her? So look, here she said, on the day of the visit, it was very, very cold. It might have been minus 30 degrees Celsius. Guys, minus 30 degrees is extremely cold, okay? Here in Fahrenheit, it will be equivalent to minus 22. So imagine, guys. So here she says, it was so cold that at some of the tram stops and bus stops, there were bonfires lit. Special street fires to keep people warm. So that's usual in Russia, especially at this temperature. So I think she only met strangers, not really anybody special, but strangers on the way as she was going, because she took this tram. And when she left the tram, when she got off, she tried to communicate with a person, with an old lady. But this old lady doesn't speak English, and she doesn't speak Russian. Imagine. Yes. So this person wasn't helpful at all. Okay. How did the temperature affect her? A lot, a lot.
Yeah, she didn't feel your hand and
Yes, her hands. Yes, she did.
And I don't know, the fingers.
Yes, she couldn't feel her hands after some time because it gets really frozen, right, guys? The blood finds it hard to circulate because it's so cold that you have to keep yourself warm all the time. And when you are out, it's difficult to keep yourself warm. So the extreme parts of your body, especially your hand and your feet, they get hard, icy cold. It's difficult. You need to wear appropriate clothes so you can go out in such a harmful weather. You have to wear something appropriate. And according to what I see here, she's not wearing appropriate clothes, right? That's why her fingers got frozen like that, and they start hurting. Of course, they really hurt people. So what happened in the end? Look, she was completely lost, right? Because the landscape is different. She didn't know the place. And all she could see were huge snow-covered white apartment buildings. And they were all the same to her. So imagine, right? She couldn't find the street, she couldn't find the address they gave her, and so the tram had gone. So she was all alone there, right? And that's when I think she met this old lady, sorry, and then tried to communicate, look, but she couldn't, right? And then when she started to really seriously panic, uh, she saw her friends. Finally, they came to rescue her. So, and then she got home. But you see, guys, it's really dangerous. Never try this, okay? If you ever go to a place like that, if you decide to go to Canada, for example, it's extremely cold. So guys, let's take a look at the language work they provide here. I know we have only a few minutes left, but I just want to conclude by showing you some adverbs because they were the focus of our lesson today, and collocations, right? So as you can see here, there are some adverbs in the box: completely, extremely, really, okay? And then we are going to complete the sentences using these adverbs. So I will show you the answers right away. You complete. And if you have any questions concerning meaning, you can ask, okay? So let me show you the answers. The first one, let's see that. I will zoom in so you can see. It was extremely hot and stupidly, we decided to go dancing, all right? Number two, we were sweating. What do you think?
Profusely.
Profusely, very good. The temperature rises.
I think dramatically.
Yes, excellent. The temperature rises dramatically. You see, with practice, you start feeling which word is better with which word. So it's nice to do this. My brain wasn't working.
Properly.
Yes, perfect. It was anonymous, this landscape.
Completely.
Completely. Completely anonymous, yes. They all looked
Exactly.
exactly the same. I was beginning to
Really serious panic.
really seriously panic. Try to say that, guys. Seriously.
Seriously.
Seriously. They use this a lot. Okay?
Seriously.
Seriously. Okay, guys, perfect. So just to finish the part, adding a comment in the spoken English box, they say here how important it is, right? After you say something to add an extra comment. So in conversation, we can add a comment with which as an afterthought. This often expresses our reaction to what we've just said. Example, he gave me a ride home, which was nice. Okay, so this is super usual, and we use that a lot in spoken speech, and it's very common, really. Okay, so add a suitable comment from B to Simone's and Anna's comments in A. Sometimes more than one is correct. So just for you to have an idea, let's do one together. And then the others, I will just give you the answers so you can see if you understand, right? So let's see the first one. We went dancing in temperatures of over 40 degrees Celsius. What is the best match for number one? What do you think? Exactly. Which was rather a stupid thing to do. Okay, so this one here matches with this one. It makes sense. All right. So let me show you the answers for that one. Just a second.
Track 24. Adding a comment. 1.
We went dancing in temperatures of over 40 degrees Celsius, which was rather a stupid thing to do.
2.
My friends were worried I'd get lost, which was understandable.
3.
We visited the pyramids at sunrise, which was just amazing.
4.
My nostrils actually froze, which is hard to believe.
5.
This motorcycle broke down in the desert, which was no laughing matter.
6.
The old lady didn't understand a word I said, which is hardly surprising because my Russian's lousy.
Okay, guys. Yes? So here, the first one, let me just connect
Okay,
here.
teacher.
So I did this so you could really understand and visualize better, okay, the appropriate complements. So do you have any questions about this, adding complements or adding a comment? This is nice, right? It's like an afterthought, really, and it helps a lot. When we think of something, oh, like for example, I went to this party last week, which was rather a stupid thing to do because we are in a pandemic. So how come I went to a party, right? So suppose using now, right? Oh, I went to this party last weekend and which was rather a stupid thing to do. Okay, but of course it never happened. Okay, guys, I'm really in a quarantine. I'm not going anywhere. And this is what you should also do. Okay, guys. So zooming out, what did we learn today? Let's go back if possible. First, we talked about adverb collocations. We saw the uses of very and absolutely. We use very with gradable adjectives and absolutely with ungradable adjectives, right? Extreme adjectives. We saw something about the Oscars, right? We practiced a little bit with this text here. And we saw the differences using the adverb pretty. Sometimes when we say pretty, we don't really want to emphasize, but sometimes we can emphasize using the adverb pretty. After that, we saw the reading about Tarzan of Central Park, which is actually a guy who decided to live in tree houses in Central Park. And after he got caught, he was offered a job to work at the park and stay there for good, right? But not in a tree house. That's not allowed. We saw some vocabulary, okay, concerning related to the text. So I really recommend that you read this text again if you have the book, right? And we saw to finish this listening part here about two girls who had extreme experiences with temperatures, right? Very high temperature, very low temperature. We saw some vocabulary, and once again, we practice adverb collocations. This time, adverbs and adjectives, okay, together. And to close, we saw about adding a comment. How can we add a comment after we've said something? Okay, we can use which is a relative pronoun, as you know, and we can do that to complement what we've said before, as if it were like an afterthought. Okay, all right, guys, the homework for this lesson, let's go back to our page here on Google Classroom. I wrote everything there. You should do to practice this workbook pages 52 to 54. And I will keep giving you online practice because I really believe in this. I think it works a lot. Okay, guys. And as soon as I get a reply from the coordination, I will send the okay so you can go there and connect. Okay, log in. So it's reading number 5 about robots. Okay, guys, is everything all right? Here, I post a few things about adverb collocations, adverbs and adjectives, and the use of very, really, or absolutely. It's nice to check it out. Okay, guys. So let's take a picture just to finish. One more picture. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Danilo. Thank you, Pedro. I was very happy to see you here today. Thank you, Gabriel and Nathan. And remember, if you want to see classes that you missed and you need to replace them, you don't need to schedule. You can just watch the video, do the exercises on the book, take a picture, send me the picture so we can consider your classes replaced and clear your absences. All right, please don't forget, do this before the end of the month, okay? Otherwise, we won't be able to clear them. Okay, guys? Thank you so much for coming. Take care, people.
Can you repeat this last part?
Yes.
What we have to do?
Yes, if you missed any classes, you should click on the playlist link I sent. It's posted there on the group. If you see your WhatsApp group, our class group,
okay.
You go to the description, right? The group description, and then you'll find the link to the playlist. So you see the days that you missed, then you watch the video, do the exercises on the book that we did in class, and then take a picture, send me the pictures on WhatsApp, whatever you decide, which one is better for you. Send me the picture so I can clear your absences. A good idea is to check Google Classroom before you watch the video, so you know the content of the class before you watch. Okay? Bye-bye, people. You're welcome.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Take care. Bye, Nathan. Bye, Danilo. Bye, Esther. Thank you.